Good afternoon and welcome. May the Lord give you peace. Amen. So if you've been following the readings this week, we had great readings this week. We have the actual story of creation, the book of Genesis, really great stuff. And of course, Adam and Eve. And today we knew it was coming, the great story of the fall, the talking serpent, Adam and Eve, the forbidden fruit, the whole thing. Boy, so many details here that are really worth noting. So just a couple for our consideration today. First of all, there was two major failures that happened. First of all, Adam's original call from God was to guard and till the garden. And so he failed to guard the garden because you could ask the question, how was the snake in there? That snake should have never been there, right? Adam should have been guarding the garden. So there it is. And then the second thing is, if a snake starts talking to you, you may want to check whatever ingredients were in your lunch, okay? You shouldn't be talking to him. You do not talk with the devil. That's the second thing, He's really cunning. He's really intelligent. He's an angel. The angelic intelligence is above and beyond anything we can do as humans, and crafty and evil. Okay, and so the details here are really something, huh? For us ourselves. First of all, the spirituality of guarding the garden. Guarding your heart. Guarding people who are in your care. If you're a parent, your spouse, your family, if you're an apostolate, there needs to be a spirituality of guarding against the infiltration of the evil one. Even in the church, we got to be on our guard. And then secondly, that not entering into dialogue with the evil one, not entering in. And here's a really important detail, which may not be clear to everybody, but it's worth saying, is that the evil one doesn't always show up with horns and a tail and a pitchfork. Sometimes he comes through all sorts of disguises, right? Every day is Halloween for him. He comes in all these different disguises. So in that spirituality of guarding, you're also discerning, and you're able to discern the presence of that voice. And you don't want to enter into dialogue with that voice. And you certainly don't want to follow what he's telling you, You want to resist that. And this story today is being coupled with a story of Jesus healing a deaf man. And so there's something of the ears that are being highlighted here, that sense that we've been given for listening. In the ritual of baptism, there's a moment where the priest or deacon touches the ears of the baby. And you say a little prayer, may your ears be open to hear the gospel. So there's something really beautiful there, huh? And so a way that you might start to discern when the evil one is trying to whisper in your ear, any kind of situation or idea that comes for any of the 7 capital sins, okay? Pretty clear, that's what he's into. But also any voices that seek to make us have doubts in God. That's exactly what happened. He deceives Adam and Eve into thinking that God wasn't trustworthy, that somehow God was holding something good back. The reason why he said don't eat of that tree, because he knows if you do eat of it, you'll be like gods. You'll know, so God was holding something back. God is not trustworthy. So we have to be on our guard for things that lead us to trust in God less. So sometimes the devil may come to us through a Catholic website that just, I see them out there, in the name of Catholicism or whatever. They're just spewing all sorts of stuff, always, encouraging people to have doubts in God, to have doubts in the church, that always, what do you call it, when you give the worst possible interpretation of what might have happened or what was said, or, recently, Brother Pius and I were giving a talk to a group in a parish when we were talking about Lent. And it was such a beautiful moment we're, talking about the spirituality of Lent and the things that you can do and the devotions and practices. And at the end of this, we opened it up for a Q&A. And some of the people who stepped forward to ask questions, their questions were so political and so not connected to the topic at all. We had just talked about Lent and prayer, fasting, almsgiving, fighting against the world, the flesh, and the devil. And it was just pure anger and politics, and it's like, okay, we try to minister to that a little bit, but be on our guard, be careful, even in the name of things that you may have thought this was good and I wanted to be, it could have been secretly, who behind there, like pulling the strings, getting you angry and upset and getting you so that you're starting to welcome doubts against God's goodness or against God's church, or against each other. He loves to divide people. You ever find your heart moving in a direction of camps? I'm in this camp, you're in that camp, and we're enemies. You see that so often. When that's happening, there are the fingerprints of the evil one, And so we take these beautiful lessons from these stories, that we would, have that spirituality of guarding and discerning and not even entering into conversation with the evil one. Amen.